Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Wednesday, July the 1st, 2015, and welcome to the BCS Experience. History, arts, culture, and politics in review and discussion. I'm Byron C. Saunders, your host with the most. The BCS Experience takes a look at our rich history, African American history. We're going to share with you some known and unknown historical facts and information from the past and connect the dots on how they have impacted on our present day events and how they will definitely shape our future as African Americans in this country and the world. The BCS Experience, history, arts, culture, politics in review and discussion. This is Internet Radio and will be aired live every Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. from the studios of the Iron Metropolis Images on the GoPro Radio Network. You see, I'm really excited about this opportunity to talk to you all across the country and around the globe. I want you to tune in every week on your computer or your cell phone or your phone. I want you to become a loyal listener, and I personally invite you to lend your voices to this radio network radio at its finest. Now, here's the number for you to call in to be a part of the discussion. Call 347-884-9839. Once again, that number to call is 347-884-9839. This week's topic, oh my goodness, space, the final frontier. African Americans who you don't know but should know, who have gone to where no man has gone before. Wow. My show is the new Underground Railroad Express. Next up is your neighborhood. All aboard to freedom and to Freedom Land. But before we get started and have a chance to meet my in the studio special guest, a little bit of history so we can connect the dots. The date. It's a Tuesday. It's zero. I do not align myself with the Negro who begs a white man for his job. I align myself with that young progressive Negro who believes he has the brain, the ability to carve out his own destiny. How meant to fly around Jim Crow. The new technology of flight truly seems to be a way to slip the certain bonds of freight. By taking hold of the embryonic flight industry, Black Americans could build their own economic independence. He founded the Bessie Coleman Aero Club, named for the first black woman to fly. In 1931, Powell organized an all-Negro air show for the club in Los Angeles. He drew 15,000 visitors. Powell built his own flying school and shop. everything he did had a clean solidarity to it. He wasn't an aerial showman or a dramatic public figure. His book was filled with down-to-earth technical detail. How gave that cause its touch. It's his belief system and a well-honed bourgeois work ethic. He died in 1942, perhaps from the after effects of World War I poison gas. But Powell did live to see his work bear fruit through the Tuskegee Airmen Unit of Black fighter pilots. What he didn't live to see was a world where black airplane pilots and then black astronauts were no longer unusual. Wow. Standing on the shoulders, a gentleman you need to know, William J. Powell, took it to the air. Brothers in space, in air. Oh my goodness, an engineer at that. Well, see, I want to hear from you. Let's connect the dots and make sense out of it all. Let's talk. Call me, 347-884-9839. All right, tonight, I have a very special guest that's joining me in the studio as my featured guest this evening, none other than Mr. Lloyd Tyke Riddick, the man who was the first person to identify the Russian satellite Sputnik, mankind's first satellite in space. His life story is that of a real African-American hero. Now listen to this. This is Tyke sitting over to my left. Now you wouldn't think all this is wrapped up in this one person. He's on my side. But my God, he was born on June 26, 1934 in Harlem, USA. So you just had a birthday. 72? 81. See there, I was trying to make you a young man. Okay, 81 years old. He attended the New York City public schools in Manhattan and the Bronx. He participated in the PAL track and field programs, and in 1953 graduated from Samuel Gompers High School. And after graduation, Lloyd worked in New York City while participating and earning distinction with the famed New York Pioneers Track Club. Oh my goodness. There you go. You had some speed on you. What was your favorite? And what was your time?
I was going to
10.11, 10.1, 10.11, 10.1. Yeah, 10.9. Okay. Not bad. Pretty good. Back in those days, you talked about the third or fourth fastest human being alive. Not quite. Well, Jesse had to be by a couple seconds. Oh, you got some gold medals too. All right, we're gonna talk about that because, my friends, this is a gentleman. Now, it goes on to say Lloyd was accepted into the United States Air Force in 1953, and it was during Lloyd's basic training at Sampson Air Force Base in Lake Geneva, New York, that his drill sergeant gave him the nickname Tyke because of his playfully mischievous character. Now, Tyke, were you a mess in the Air Force?
I didn't read.
Wow.
That's where it goes. You do what you do.
You do what you do. So you got this nickname Tyke, but after basic training, the radio intercept school, you were selected to be in the elite U.S. Air Force Security Service, and in 1955 was stationed in Darmstadt, Germany. And it was there on October the 4th, 1957, you distinguished yourself, becoming the first radio operator west of the Iron Curtain to pick up and copy the signal from the Russian satellite Sputnik. Now you got to take us back to that time. Because see, a lot of these people today, especially our African American brothers and sisters, really don't think of themselves in space. Now we do because we've had a number of astronauts as African Americans and Ms. Jameson to alive. And thank goodness, because now we can see ourselves along with Captain Kerry Spock. And all the people who are in deep space. If you go back to that moment in time, it was 1957. Take us through that minute by minute experience while we were on that night listening.
We had 4 different groups that worked around 447. And what would happen is we would work 8 on, and then we'd be relieved, some other people would come in, and I was on the 4 to 12 shift that particular time. And I was in a, what they call a hot group, because I copied 44, I could copy 44 words per minute, which was the highest speed that was set. What happened was, in high school, I took radio and TV. And one year, we were given Morse code. We learned Morse code there. So going into the service, they put me right into that group. So it was easier for me than it was for a lot of people. But that night, around 8 o'clock, I heard this, when I didn't have to pick up a certain signal, I would search the dial, just go up and down the bandwidth. Right, and I happened to hear the signal, which all of them had a certain distinction to it. And you could tell by the different, if you heard it or not before, that it was important or not. And this came up with a little different structure than I normally heard. And I copied off 5 lines and I called the supervisor. And I said, I've got something here I hadn't heard before. So me and the lead operator took it into the back, started checking out the news, and I continued to copy. And came back and said, what frequency are you on? I told him to put somebody else on the frequency in case it faded. And we copied until 12 and we got off duty. And the next shift took over and they copied. But my understanding is it wasn't until about 10 o'clock that they realized this was vertical and not horizontal, because we were all in conception.
So in other words, everybody was looking for their signature
somewhere
on ground level,
sure.
But not realizing it was a problem.
Yes, indeed.
And
It was the first.
For the old school folks, you may, because back then, that's when this country and Russia began its claim to space. It was the space race. The age of Flash Gordon had elevated itself to a brand new technology, satellite technology. Wasn't all that junk that's up there right now, but we're talking about one space effort that
everybody was trying to get there.
Everybody. Now,
well, we weren't at that particular time because the Russians, when they put it up, that surprised us.
Yes, it did. We weren't ready for that.
We weren't ready for that. So that's when Kennedy said, let's get busy.
That's right.
Let's get busy.
And it's interesting to note because, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who do not know history, this is why history is so important. After World War II, when they broke up the German aero industry, half of the engineers went to the United States, Werner Braun, and then the other half went to Russia. And it was at that point, both of them began to engage in not only rocket technology, because we had propellers back then, and jets were just coming on board right at the end of World War II, and the age of atomic energy. Those two elements propelled the race for space.
And what we have now.
And what we have now with weapons of mass destruction. Let's be real, because it wasn't weapons of mass destruction prior to that was mustard gas. That's why I read that story, so people can understand that gentleman who was suffering from post-traumatic stress syndrome was poisoned gases and mustard gas in World War I. And now we have what's going on now with nuclear weapons, technology so advanced.
We can take out an area. That's how you take out a country.
A country from deep in space.
Yep.
But it all started back in 1957. And the brother that's sitting next to me. All right. Now, I joke with Ty about this. I say, spooks in space. Okay. But my friends, we got to take a break. But when we come back, you're going to hear more of this incredible story of this African-American hero from deep into space right here on the BCS Experience on the GoPro Radio Network. We'll be right back.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network. the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
What if you can have an entire team of skilled professionals to help your business grow? Admin, accounts, marketing, and more, but only pay for the exact amount of support you need at virtually the same cost you'd pay for one full-time employee. With Virtual Professions, you can. One contact, one number gets you a team of virtual professionals for exactly what your business needs. It's 1-888-315-VPRO. That's 1-888-315-8776. Or online at www.virtualprofessions.net. Virtual Professions Incorporated, because you mean business.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a great opportunity. If you have an event, product, service, talent, or something important to say, now is your chance. You can have your very own radio show. Whether you're just starting out or a veteran looking for a professional platform to enhance your presentation and following, the GoPro Radio Network is the premier place to cultivate and share new and exciting content. We can help you grow your audience and keep it growing long after your first broadcast. Now you have a voice. Call 212-696-8562 or visit www.goproradio.com and you'll be amazed at how easy and affordable it is to have your very own professional radio show on the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head. You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
All right, we're back on the BCS Experience, and hey, I'm Byron C. Saunders, your host with the most, but I am here tonight with a real live American hero. His name is Lloyd Tyke Riddick. That's right, not the Riddick from the movie, but the real Riddick, okay? He's the man. This man right here to my left is the man who was the first person to identify the Russian space satellite Sputnik back in 1957. This was man's first effort into deep space, flying above the Earth, monitoring what's going on down below. And Tyke Riddick discovered it on his night on the shift, where he was sitting there at the radio listening, basic Morse code information. But
dots and dashes.
Dots and dashes. That's right. So you stand on some important shoulders with the men and women who before you
No doubt about
defied the idea of gravity, wanting to be in space. Now, what's amazing to me, Riddick, Tyke, is that it took 40 years before this country acknowledged and recognized you formally. Before they get, and how did they do that? Tell me what happened 40 years after your discovery, and how they awarded you for the recognition.
We have every year, starting in the 90s, a group that was stationed in Germany, where I was.
Right.
And we started having these yearly get-togethers, and we went back to San Antonio, Texas, which was the headquarters that we would come back to when we left overseas for the Air Intelligence Agency or the security service. And they surprised me by saying, well, we're going to honor you tonight for being the first one to pick up the signal. And I had almost forgotten about it. Nobody had ever mentioned it.
A footnote in history, right?
Yeah,
pretty much.
You every year they would celebrate the space race and so forth, and nobody would ever call my telephone and say, "Hey, we want you to come down and be a part of this." And so then they met, because when you first came out of service, you couldn't talk about what you had done at all.
Top security.
But they awarded me a gold dog tag with my name and my number, and they always put your blood type on your Social Security, on your dog tag.
Right.
And on the back they had the insignia of the Sputnik.
And we're showing that. I got the picture of that so that folks can see this. This
Yeah.
and this is a one of a kind. Nobody else in this country has this medal but Lloyd Tyke Riddick,
And they gave me.
and it's in gold.
Yes.
That's
They
right. Come on now.
They gave me the Air Intelligence Agency award.
Award, which is
Right.
a medallion.
Medallion, right.
Which is a picture right next to the. So please make sure you show that. That's an incredible honor. It's one of a kind, folks. No one else in this country has it.
The other person that they had pick up the signal.
Yes.
And copy with me.
Yes.
I think they gave him one.
They gave him
But,
one, so
you know,
two
but,
of a kind.
Yeah, right.
But that's
right.
it.
That's it. That's
Nobody
it.
else. But
That's
you
it.
don't see this name in the history books. You see Yuri Gagarin, who was the first astronaut. You see Sputnik. You see the chimp. Even the monkey who went up in space. But do you see Lloyd Tyke Riddick? And this is why history is important, ladies and gentlemen, because if you didn't know this story, you would go on thinking that we weren't involved in the industry. Now, take us back a little bit before that, because your story just doesn't start and end with Sputnik. You're a world track sprinter. You are a singer. You're an actor. Kind of a bon vivant type of guy.
A little bit of everything.
A little bit of
right?
everything. So
what did my mother used to say? Of son, but master of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right. I got it.
Yeah, right.
So
Master
Tyke.
of none.
Tyke.
Yeah.
You started back with the Police Athletic League in the Bronx.
In the Bronx, right.
At Fort Apache, folks.
41st precinct.
Thank you. Hello. Come on
Simpson
now.
Street.
There you go. Come on.
Right.
Talk to us about the Boogie Down Bronx, 'cause
Yes.
that's what it's known as today.
Right, right.
But it was hot back in then, wasn't
it
it?
was hot. It was hot. Almost every block had a gang.
Yeah.
Had their gang. Fortunately, I grew up on a block that did not have one. Ours was a neutral block, which meant the Copians from Union Avenue and the Slicksters from someplace else could come to our block and play stickball. And they would allow the older guys in our block to hold the money.
Okay.
And then whoever would win would get the money and they'd go back to their block.
This was before Bloods and Crips, y'all. Now, what was the name of those groups again?
Slicksters.
The Slicksters.
The Neutralistics.
The Neutralistics.
The Copians.
Oh, my goodness. Now, these are names that are like, come on.
The 1940s.
There you go.
1940s, 1950s.
All right. Now, were you part of any one of those gangs? You were a clean-cut guy.
And fortunately,
yes,
as living on Hewitt Place, which I did at Neutral Block,
yes,
early on I started hustling. So I used to take Amsterdam newspapers,
yes,
and I could go into the other blocks, and they would, hey, man, how much money you got? What'd you get? And I would say, I'm from Hewitt Place. Okay, go ahead. Because I was in
you were in the neutral zone. I know that's because back then, how much was the paper?
A nickel.
A nickel,
dime.
right?
Yeah.
And you, I mean,
I mean, that was money.
That was money back then. Okay.
Because I'd get my $2-3, and I'd go up to Tom McGann's.
Yes.
Put a down payment on a pair of shoes.
Now we're talking. Now, back then, you actually took boxing. You had a 4-0 record, and your trainer was none other than the iconic figure himself, Gil Clancy.
Gil Clancy.
Oh
Gil
my
Clancy,
goodness!
Who went on as
the
master
trainer,
master trainer
of the best boxers in the world.
We were at CYO on Liggett Avenue,
right?
And there we trained, and they had a number of good people, Tony Anthony and Henry Smith, and Emil Griffith.
I remember Emil. That was one of his prize boxers.
That was one of his prize boxers.
That's right.
Until he killed Benny Kid Perret.
Benny Kid Perret. I saw that fight on the.
But when I went in the Air Force, I was up at Sampson, and in order to get out of having to march and clean the latrines and all that sort of stuff, I joined the boxing team.
4-0.
4-0.
Oh my goodness!
And I told my mother, I think they want me to stay up here with the boxing team. We go into Rochester every day. She said, No. You went in there for radio, and that's where you're going.
Thank goodness.
So I had to do it.
Now, Tyke, you about as big as I am. I'm trying to think about that 4-0 record.
I must have been flyweight or something.
I think we're featherweight guys.
Whatever,
okay,
right.
127.
Right.
Yeah,
right,
there
right,
you go. See, I know, but I wouldn't take you on.
Yeah.
I'm screwed.
But,
anyway,
it was good.
So 4-0 boxing. From there, you went to track and field.
Right.
And tell us about that, because your career in track and field is stellar. Absolutely stellar. I mean, we're talking world-class speed, running with world-class competition,
Yep.
and representing both the Army, Combined Air Force, and then
United States,
United
right.
States military Olympic team.
Right.
Tell us about that.
Well, when I got to Europe, I formed the singing group, the Sabres. But then also in the summertime, they had an outdoor meet just for everybody to come out and participate. And they wanted to, and my times were so good. They said, "Oh, you should, did you run?" I said, "Yeah, I've been running since I was 10 years old." PAL, then with the high school,
Yes.
PSAL, then with the New York Pioneer Club, and so they said, "Well, you should pursue that. We're gonna." They allowed me to go run with a German track team in the town. The town was
Yes.
Darmstadt 98
Yes.
sport team, and almost every town in Germany has its own track team or its own soccer team or its own. They're very, very athletic.
They had clubs back in those days.
Yes, they're clubs.
Athletic
So
clubs.
I would jump over the back fence, run through the woods for about a mile,
Okay.
and I would get to the track, work out with the team, and run back through the woods. I was in the best shape I could possibly be.
Oh, my goodness.
And then on the weekends,
Yes.
we would go off to various different towns in West Germany to run. And I would run against the teams from other places, but they would have the German Olympians.
Yes.
Leopold and
Yes.
Führer and Germa and all these guys.
And this was before the Berlin Wall came down, because back
Yes.
then you couldn't go to East Germany.
No, I could not.
But not in your
Because
particular
I had
capacity.
the top
You have
secret,
top
and
secret
you had
security.
to go through.
That's right.
Had to go through the Russian zone.
Yes.
So I couldn't. When they have a meet in Berlin, I couldn't. I
You
couldn't
couldn't
go.
participate.
Yeah.
So, once again, what were your speeds, and what was your favorite races? Because
100 and 200.
and
was
then you
my
got
basic.
relays.
100 in relays. We had our team, our relay team.
Okay.
And I usually would run anchor, but I was competing on the top level with the top sprinters in the world.
And when you went to the Masters World Championship in
That was
Gothenburg,
79, right?
Yes.
Well, it was in 77 in Sweden.
you not
Gothenburg,
only
Sweden.
took home the gold medal, but you took home top honors, and came back, and with the Masters Championship.
That was in
Honored.
79.
That's right.
We was Hanover, Germany. We went to the World Championships, and I won the 100 and the 200, and we won the relay. So I brought back 3 gold medals. There were only 8 gold medals by 300 Americans we went over.
Wow.
And there were 8 brought back, and I had 3 of them.
Incredible story.
So down at the downtown athletic club, where they normally give the Heisman
Trophy, yes.
I was on the stage, and they presented me with the Athlete of the Year award for
That's
my
what I'm talking about.
participation.
See, right here, African American hero, a story you don't know, but you should know. This is a man who is of great substance, track and field, space. Wait till you come back and listen to the doo-wop. This brother stood on the corner and did some singing, y'all. Anyway, you're listening to the BCS Experience on the GoPro Radio Network. Don't go away. We'll be right back right after these important words.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head. We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a great opportunity. If you have an event, product, service, talent, or something important to say, now is your chance. You can have your very own radio show. Whether you're just starting out or a veteran looking for a professional platform to enhance your presentation and following, the GoPro Radio Network is the premier place to cultivate and share new and exciting content. We can help you grow your audience and keep it growing long after your first broadcast. Now you have a voice. Call 696-8562 or visit www.goproradio.com, and you'll be amazed at how easy and affordable it is to have your very own professional radio show on the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
What if you can have an entire team of skilled professionals to help your business grow? Admin, accounts, marketing, and more, but only pay for the exact amount of support you need at virtually the same cost you'd pay for one full-time employee. With Virtual Professions, you can. One contact, one number gets you a team of virtual professionals for exactly what your business needs. It's 1-888-315-VPRO. That's 1-888-315-8776. Or online at www.virtualprofessions.net. Virtual Professions Incorporated, because you mean business.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
What if you can have an entire team of skilled professionals to help your business grow? Admin, accounts, marketing, and more, but only pay for the exact amount of support you need at virtually the same cost you'd pay for one full-time employee. With Virtual Professions, you can. One contact, one number gets you a team of virtual professionals for exactly what your business needs. It's 1-888-315-VPRO. That's 1-888-315-8776. Or online at www.virtualprofessions.net. Virtual Professions Incorporated, because you mean business.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
All right, already we're back on the BCS Experience, and I'm my good friend, Mr. Lloyd Tyke Riddick, the man who was the first person to identify the Russian satellite Sputnik. But his career just didn't stop there. My brother has been on the track, on the go, in the know for quite some time. For 80, how many years now?
81.
81 years and still looking young. I don't think I want to race you around that track, my brother. But here we go. Now, his career from the track, from the Air Force, but also back in the day, you remember this, under the streetlights, on the corner, on the boardwalk, the doo-wop, okay? My brother here was a doo-wop singer. And not only a doo-wop singer, but his career spanned really several decades in which you took off not only just singing at the church choir, which you, as a young boy, is 13 years old, but you went on to create the Harmonaires at Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yes, indeed.
Oh, my goodness, way down south.
Right. Yeah.
And the Sabres. Now, tell us a little bit about that, and then we're going to try to let people listen in on a little bit of that crooning that you must have charmed a lot of ladies, my brother.
I tried.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Real
okay.
hard. Real hard.
So tell us about the Harmonaires first. That was the first group.
Well, when I arrived in Biloxi, Mississippi, there was a group there, the Harmonaires, but they had come out of California, out of Bakersfield.
Yes, sir.
One of the members did not make it to Biloxi with the rest of the group, so it was only 4 of them.
Okay.
So as a quartet, I joined to make it a quintet.
All right.
And we harmonized. We went different. We were in Montgomery, Alabama.
Yes.
We were in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
While we were there, fortunately, we got on the Ted Mack Original Amateur Hour.
Oh, my goodness. Now, this is old school, folks.
Right.
You talk about the original TV star variety show.
Right,
Not you want to be a star, so you think you can dance, or American Idol.
Yes.
It was Ted Mack Amateur Hour. And so
we performed and went back to the base, and that was it. You know, then because we were all going to different places when
Yes.
we so that ended that.
That kind of split the group up.
Right. When I got to Germany, I decided to start another group.
All right.
And we called it the Sabres after the Air
Force
airplane.
Sabres, the crossing
Right.
blades, yes.
And we sang in different places. Frankfurt, and Wiesbaden was the headquarters
Right.
for Air Force
Right.
at that time.
Yes.
And they had a place they called the Castle. It was a very large venue, and we would go down every Saturday, and the place would be packed with Air Force people and Army people, and put on a show.
So
Put on a show.
so when USO wasn't there, you were.
We were.
There you
And
go.
then we had the opportunity, Bonn University,
Yes.
up in Bonn, Germany.
Yes.
It was a school that had various people coming in from different, students coming in from
Right.
all over. They had different nights for different countries. And they had an American night, but they didn't have enough American students to put on the performance. So they called around to the Army and the Air Force and asked us to bring in people, So the Army sent a band, Cedar Walton, Houston Pearson,
Oh my goodness.
Tootie Heath, and a number of other people. And the Air Force sent the Sabres. So we got to go up. We got a Volkswagen bus, and we drove up to
Oh my
to
goodness.
and it so
this
happened
is not the bus and truck tour that you
No,
normally
this-
think of. This was the BB
this
bus.
was BB bus. What happened was when we got there, we found out that Konrad Adenauer,
Yeah, he was the
who
chancellor
was the
at that time.
chancellor
Yes.
of West Germany,
Yes.
he was in the audience that
Oh
evening.
my goodness.
So we got
Dr.
to-
Lieber.
Oh, yeah, right. So we got to perform.
You got
before
to perform for the chancellor. Now, Tyke, not only did you entertain royalty and heads of states, but when you came back to the United States and you continued sometimes some of your solo career in clubs and concerts in the United States and Canada and Mexico, but in New York City, you sung at the Copacabana, Showman's, Birdland, Minton's Playhouse, Lennox Lounge, St. Nick's Pub, Leviticus, Bogart's, and the Cotton Club.
Yes, indeed.
Oh my goodness. And your various venues throughout the world, and you sung with such artists as you already mentioned, Houston Pearson, Sammy Benskin, Cedar Walton, Danny Mixon, who's still performing.
He's still,
Because
I love him.
I work with Jazzmobile, and surprise of surprises, that's one of my clients. The other day, I happened to run into Robin Bell Stevens, and when she came in, I was about to introduce you, and you're like, oh, I know, you all know each other.
And I hugged my honey.
Oh, yes, sir, indeed. So other artists, Bob Cunningham, Stanley Turrentine, Lonnie Youngblood, and Al Tootie Heath. My brother, you're an amazing icon.
I've had a wonderful life.
Yes, you have.
If I complain about anything, somebody needs to kick me.
Well, let's see if we can cue this up so that we can hear a little bit of your crooning capacity. And if not, we're going to try this on air. I mean, we technology is going to allow us to hear a little bit of what Tyke sounds like. You're singing what now?
Autumn Leaves.
Autumn
This is
Leaves.
Autumn
Featuring
Leaves.
Tyke.
Featuring Tyke. Now, this is recent.
Yes, that's
So you still got chops. Come on, my brother. There we go.
Fall past my window, the autumn leaves red and gold. I see your face, and I remember the sun-kissed hands I used to hold. Since you've gone away, the days grow long. Soon I'll sing old winter song, but I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves begin to fall, the autumn leaves fall past my window, the autumn leaves of red and gold. I see your face, And I remember her sun-kissed hands I used to hold. Since you
Well,
go
all right,
away,
all right.
the days grow long.
And you got a little trumpet thing coming up? Let's see. Let's hear that.
Song. But I miss you most of all, my darling. When autumn leaves began to fall.
Okay, now, folks, because you couldn't see this, you've heard of Dougie Fresh and the Human Beatbox and all of that. Well, these guys don't know nothing. Tyke was doing this a cappella, and he was playing the trumpet role as well, a cappella with his voice. Tyke. And he was scatting, not just playing a trumpet, but scat trumpet. Oh my God. This is what I'm talking about, folks. This is a hero. Yeah. Very much alive. 2015, sitting right here in the GoPro Radio studios. And this is what it's all about, connecting our roots, folks. You got to know this name. And if you don't know this name, then it's time to make sure that you recognize and honor the folks just like this one. But today we're honoring Lloyd Tyke Reddick.
Thank you very much.
A Renaissance man.
Yes,
that's what you are, my brother.
I'm going to live until I die.
Right. Amen, brother. And well, listen, we're getting ready to take another break. But when we come back, I want you to hear some of the people, because basically, one more thing, not only did you go on and star and sing, and you still got, you did this, what, last week?
Yeah, last week.
You did this last week on that you were listening to. You also was on the Bill Cosby TV game show, You Bet Your Life, which was the second runner after the Marx brother. Groucho Marx was the original You Bet Your Life. Yeah. And he was paired with Debbie Turner, Miss America 1990, and you won. Come on, brother.
Fine lady.
Fine lady. Was she really fine?
Oh, yes.
Oh.
And intelligent.
And intelligent, too.
We kicked it.
All right.
We did very well.
And you were featured in the film Family Jewels in 2006, and in 2007 you had a featured role in the original stage play The Hill.
Yes, indeed.
Down at John Jay College. Oh my goodness. Now, afterwards we'll come back. No, I got a couple more minutes here. You have a wonderful family. You have 3 children. Yes. Lloyd Riddick III, who lives in Belo
Horizonte, Brazil.
In Brazil. And a daughter, Maya Renee.
Yes, and she's in Houston.
She's in Houston, and that's after Katrina. She moved to Houston.
Yeah, she was in New Orleans. And they chased her out.
And then your last little one
is Tanisha
Thomas.
And she's in Nashville.
I was born in Nashville.
Oh, no kidding.
That's right. Hubbard Hospital.
Oh, wow.
My father was a graduate of TSU, Tennessee State. Okay. My mother a graduate of Fisk.
She's there kicking.
I know Nashville.
Yeah.
My hometown. All right. We got to take another break, and when we come back, more about blacks in space. Those who are there doing it now. You're listening to all of this on the GoPro Radio Network. Right here with the BCS Experience. See you in a few. We'll be right back.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
We interrupt this broadcast to bring you a great opportunity. If you have an event, product, service, talent, or something important to say, now is your chance. you can have your very own radio show. Whether you're just starting out or a veteran looking for a professional platform to enhance your presentation and following, the GoPro Radio Network is the premier place to cultivate and share new and exciting content. We can help you grow your audience and keep it growing long after your first broadcast. Now you have a voice. Call 212-696-8562 or visit www.goproradio.com and you'll be amazed at how easy and affordable it is to have your very own professional radio show on the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
What if you can have an entire team of skilled professionals to help your business grow? Admin, accounts, marketing, and more, but only pay for the exact amount of support you need at virtually the same cost you'd pay for one full-time employee. With Virtual Professions, you can. One contact, one number gets you a team of virtual professionals for exactly what your business needs. It's 1-888-315-VPRO. That's 1-888-315-8776. Or online at www.virtualprofessions.net. Virtual Professions Incorporated, because you mean business.
You're listening to content developed by the GoPro Radio Network, the fastest growing network in the galaxy. GoPro Radio Network. Listen to the voices in your head.
All right, we're back on the BCS Experience. I'm Byron C. Saunders, your host with the most, right here on the GoPro Radio Network. You know, we're the fastest growing network in the galaxy. How did we get to be like that? Well, in the light of disappearing voices, it's because of you, listener sponsors. That's what it means. So when you go to click on GoPro Radio, there's a box there that says, talks about donate. Now's your chance to be one of my sponsors. Just click on that box and make a donation, a generous one, so that I can stay on the air, keep giving you the love, keep taking you to the new Underground Railroad Express. So make that donation, and when you make it, identify it as supporting the BCS Experience. I want to thank you very much for all the love, so I can continue to give you all the love. All right, I'm back right here with Mr. Lloyd Tyke Riddick, the man who was the first person to identify the Russian satellite Sputnik. Now, I go back, I'm not quite as old as you are, but that's okay. I'm not hating.
Okay, youngster.
Yes, thank you, Pop. But I do recall when Sputnik was discovered, because I grew up in Washington, D.C., and my parents worked for the National Security Agency. So, you know, it was a big thing in my family.
We were sending back the information.
Yes, to the Goddard Space Center and to Fort Meade, which is where my parents worked. And you met my sister, Leslie.
Yes, I did.
Now, where did you meet Leslie?
In Atlanta.
In Atlanta. Now, you're a world traveler. What you doing in Atlanta?
Partying.
Uh-oh. See, Tyke is still partying, y'all. Okay? Don't let this man fool you. I bet you cut a rug still, too,
Yes,
don't
indeed.
you?
We had fun.
All right. And you still...
Me and Leslie
Yes.
were out there.
You were out there? Now, what club were y'all at?
This was, I'm not even sure. It was a rented space for somebody's birthday party.
Oh, okay. She told me. She said, when she said, Byron, I have someone that should be on your show. And when she said you were the one who discovered Sputnik, I was like, absolutely. Gotta have it. And because back in that day, my family, my father had season tickets to the Baltimore Colts.
Okay.
Lenny Moore.
Oh, Lenny Moore, sure.
Was known as Sputnik because he had his spats on, and he was Penn State graduate and one of the fastest. And he could fly. That brother was bad. That's okay. Right. Anyway, I want to show a picture of you. I think we're on this camera here. This is Tyke right there. This is 1949, graduating from high school.
Junior high.
Junior high. He was junior high. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Look at those handsome young men up in that picture. Push it in closer. There we go. Can you see it now? And that's Riddick. That's Riddick right there on the edge. Okay. Now check this out. This is the Sabres. This is the Mighty Sabres, 1956, August 31st at the Officers Club.
Wiesbaden, Germany.
In Wiesbaden, Germany. Mm-hmm. Oh, my goodness. Now, some of these pictures I do actually have
up on the site.
Okay.
And let's see now. This picture here. What is this? Share this picture.
That's one of the groups when we meet every year.
Yes.
And we're meeting this year in St. Louis in September. But that was the ones that are left. You know, I mean, every year there's
Some are dying.
few more missing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now here we go. This is the one that's important. This is the Pioneer Award certificate that you received, and explain that for us. Why were you given this award?
That was when I, as a pioneer, as one of the members of the elite group that is still around, and we did a number of things, so there was.
Okay, and this one, folks, when we talk
Air
about him
intelligence.
singing, now this picture by itself is iconic. The people in this picture, tell them who it is, right to left.
It was Rose McCoy.
Yes.
I think there was
Little Jimmy.
Jimmy Scott
Little Jimmy Scott, right
with
there.
the
That's
with the
right.
high voice,
And
myself.
you're in the center.
Yeah, and a dude named Jimmy, and Ella Garrett.
Okay.
And we were at the seniors club in
Inglewood.
in Inglewood, New Jersey.
At the Actors
Yeah,
Home.
at the Actors Home. We sang. We'd go by there and just volunteer and sing for them so they could come out. And,
Keep them happy.
Once in a year, sure.
And then, of course, this participation award. So you can see this. This is part of his archival collection,
Right. That was.
and this is for his military track and
That was in
field
Brussels, Belgium.
In Brussels, Belgium.
The military Olympics.
Military Olympics. So you see, these are the artifacts. Folks, let me just tell you how important artifacts are. Much of our history is not in a historical society. It's not in an archive. It's not in the Queens Historical Society. It's not in the New York Historical Society. It still resides personally in the hands of our family and family members, in our cedar chest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Some of it.
Some of it.
And when people die, other people don't think it's important.
Yes, but
and
this
it disappears.
It disappears, but this is important. That medal with Sputnik on it. These are the things that are the history of this man sitting next to me that must be preserved. History has a place that must be preserved and kept almost as important as anything else. Because let me just tell you, folks, without history, we don't exist.
Right.
And that's what's a problem in our country with African Americans in this country.
Everything is now.
That's right. Everything is right now. But let me tell you, connect the dots, folks. Look at those pictures. Hear those stories. A lot of our stories are told by word of mouth.
Everybody's standing on somebody's shoulders.
Exactly.
Although we think nowadays we invented everything.
But we didn't.
These young people,
I know. But here's some of the folks that you do need to know that are NASA's African American astronauts.
Mm-hmm.
And these are the people, the men and women, and you can post that picture on, I think I have that picture in our display. But these are the men and women who are National Aeronautics Space Administration. They're the African Americans who have gone to space, the final frontier, where men and women have dared to go. There's Charles F. Bolden Jr. He was born August 19th in 1946 from Columbia, South Carolina, and graduated from C.A. Johnson High School. And he became an astronaut. Okay? Bolden began his duties as the 12th NASA administrator and first African American administrator in July 2009. And as administrator, he heads the agency to achieve NASA's missions and goals. African American brother. Yvonne Darlene Cagle, a doctor. Yvonne Darlene Cagle, born in West Point, New York. Now, y'all know what's up in West Point, New York?
Right.
The Military Academy, okay? Received a Bachelor's of Arts in Biochemistry from San Francisco State University in 1981. Cagle was selected by NASA in April 1996 and is qualified for flight assignment, and Cagle is currently stationed at Ames Research Center, and she leads the ARC Astronaut Science Liaison and Strategic Relationships, and is the Strategic Relationships Manager for Google and other Silicon Valley programmatic partnerships.
Heavy folks.
Heavy folks. These are the men and women who are brilliant. Michael Anderson, born December 25th, 1959. NASA, he was selected by NASA in December 1991, and Anderson flew in STS-89 and STS-107, logging over 593 hours in space. Okay?
Amazing.
He died on February 1st, 2003, when Space Shuttle Columbia and the crew perished during re-entry.
Right.
That's right. The brother that you don't remember, but we should. Robert Colbeam Jr., born March 5th, 1962 in Baltimore, Maryland, graduated from Woodlawn High School in Baltimore County. NASA, he earned a degree in aeronautics and astronautical engineering from the Naval Postgraduate School in 1991. Colbeam was selected by NASA in December 1994, and he flew on the space STS-85, STS-98, and STS-116, logging over 593 hours in space, including over 19 spacewalk hours during 3 spacewalks. My goodness. Guion Bluford Jr., born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania on November 22nd, 1942. Now, for him, he became a NASA astronaut in August of 1979, and Buford is a veteran of 4 space flights and was a mission specialist on STS-8, STS-61A, STS-39, and STS-53. And then there's Benjamin Alvin Drew, born November 5th, 1962 in Washington, D.C., and graduated from Gonzaga College High School. One of my schools that we were always against. I went to St. John's Military Academy. He went to Gonzaga. We always played them. Anyway, he received his Bachelor of Science in Aeronautical Engineering. And NASA, he was a specialist. Drew was selected as a mission specialist by NASA in July 2000, and attended a master's degree program in Maxwell Air Force Base, Air War College, and flew on STS-118 in 2007 and STS-133 in 2011. Now, you get to the rest of the astronauts. You got Jeanette Epps. I mean, these young kids here and these women who are courageous young folks and good looking
to go out into space.
To go out into space. Jeanette Epps, born in Syracuse, New York. She recently graduated from astronaut candidate training, which included scientific and technical briefings, intensive instruction, and international space station systems. So she's the new breed. You have Ronald E. McNair, who you know, Dr. McNair, born 1950. You know, he was a graduate of North Carolina A&T in 78, and he died aboard Challenger. He was one of those that died at the Challenger. And then, of course, you have Mae Jemison. I just got to name the names: Joni Higginbotham, Bernard Harris, Frederick Gregory, Leland Melvin, Bobby Satcher, Winston Scott, and Stephanie Wilson, all African Americans, heroes and sheroes who stand on the shoulders of this man next to me, Lloyd Tyke Riddick. Well, folks, I got to wrap it up. This has been a great show. The BCS Experience is goproradio.com, your social network's live talk radio show, produced and sponsored by Iron Metropolis Images. Tyler New Savior, Washington producer, Brian and Kobe, and a new person, Sherry. She's good looking. I love it when he brings in these good looking women, online engineers. A special thank you to the Jazz Lounge Project and Andrew Julian Myers for my fabulous show's theme music. Hey, listen, tune in to me next week. I promise you, I got a great show next week. All my shows are great, but stay tuned to GoPro Radio. We got great shows all day. Go on the site, click on the next show, and stay tuned all the way through the end of the night when you got the roll-up. You know, that last toke of inspiration. I didn't want to call it, but you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, and now on Mondays, the Earl Morgan Hour from 5 to 6, and in the booth on Fridays at 9 p.m. Hey, I'm Byron C. Saunders, and it's been all about the BCS Experience. I'll see you next week, where my very special guest will be you, my listening audience. Until then, I'm out of here for the moment. Peace and love, always.
Thank you.
Good show, bro.
Are you ready for this?